Hi, I'm Marian Tumanyan, and I'm originally from Armenia. And I live and do my work, my research work in Finland at the moment. I'm working with arts-based methods, particularly visual methods. My background is in psychology and pedagogy. That's what I studied in my bachelor's and master's studies. And for my PhD, I'm in the University of Oulu in Finland and in the Faculty of Education. So this is good for me to have this background of psychology and pedagogy, education, and now also looking more in arts-based methods and see all those connections and how we can use these methods to work with children, to work on some sensitive issues. Particularly, that's what I'm studying at the moment. Understanding how we can use these methods to help children communicate, express some issues, some topics which would have been difficult for them to do with more traditional verbal methods. When I started doing my research, I wanted to understand what has been done. I was somewhat familiar with art therapy, which is used in psychology to work with children when working with some traumatic issues, with some psychological disorders. So I was interested what else is done in the area of arts methods. How else are they used to work with children, not just for creating something beautiful as an artwork, but doing something more with those methods. So I decided to do a study, and I wrote an article, a review article, to understand what's there about these methods and how have other researchers used them. That was very helpful because I could see all the various ways and possibilities how these methods are good to be used with children and young adults also. One big thing which I found out in that review, which was many times mentioned, that these methods were used in places where verbal methods didn't show to be very helpful. For example, if there is some sensitive topic which you would discuss with a child, and you would feel that the child just closes down, and of course it would be difficult to start a conversation with them. But if you ask a child to draw something about it, to start from symbols, then it would be easier for a child to start conversation from something real. And then the child will also have some time to actually process those things in their mind before discussing those things. That's also good for the children, because if there is something like very difficult for them, which they don't even want to remember, when they put it to a paper in the form of symbols, it's something still which is close to them, but they also somehow detach themselves from it. So it's a somewhat safer way for them to deal with those emotions and those issues. That's why I think these art-based methods are very useful. And from my own practice, it's always shocking when working with children. You never expect what will come out when using drawings, paintings, other creative methods. There have been several cases when I have worked with children, and I didn't even imagine how serious topics they can bring up throughout very, as you would think, simple activities you would give them. So it's also important for the person working with them to be ready for such to come up. Um, I think first of all, and very importantly, we need to think about the ethical issues, especially when working on some sensitive topics with children. Of course, when you do research, you need to get all all the consent from parents and children, and be ready that they might not be willing to continue their research at some point, and it should be completely okay. You shouldn't anyway push the children to do something which they are not ready for. It's very important to understand and step by step take the children through the process. Another thing which I understood, that even though those methods might seem like simple, but still they are working with affective and subconscious levels of a person. So it's important to know that, and uh, and to understand that this can put a person who is working with those methods in a vulnerable position, even though they might seem to be doing something simple, but it's still connected with their emotions. It's still connected uh, with uh, with some uh, sensitive places for those, and also to know how far to go with them. As I said, you always need to remember that there might come something from a child which you would never expect from a simple drawing or painting or collage. So you would need to have a plan in advance. Okay, what I'm going to do with this information, and also discussing with the child or any other person with whom you are using these methods, that if something comes up, a very serious issue which might harm a child, what I'm going to do, whom I'm going to report, and also how I'm going to tell the child in advance about this, that okay, your information is safe with me, but if there is something which is going to harm you or others, then I would need to report to a principal or then to a school psychologist who will continue working with you. It's good to realize these things already in advance before starting to work with children using these methods. And also you need to build a trust with children as well, so they can do those things which might look simple in the beginning, but it takes time. It takes step-by-step approach. It takes using these methods regularly with children, so they are used to, and also getting their trust that they are safe with you and with the environment that you create.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to discuss with children what they think about the work they do, um, and also for for the article I'm writing at the moment, I'm analyzing the process of the art making uh, through the visual recordings, audio and video recordings. So not only the end result, what's there, but also the process, how the child came to that, what were the interactions with the facilitators of the workshops, what were the interactions with the children, what were the connections with the things they discussed there and the actual artworks. So I think the process of the art making is as important as the end result itself.
Yeah.
I would suggest them to just be curious about these methods, maybe read a bit more, see what's done, how others have used it, so have to have some background, and then just there to bring some aspects, like some small things from this in the work with the child. For example, if you are going to have a small discussion with the child on something about their emotions, or with a group. You can give them like an easy task, a simple task to draw something in connection with that topic. And then, of course, being aware of the ethical issues, and if they don't want to share with others, not to share with just use those simple things, even not separately, but as a support for the verbal methods you would use. And I'm sure you would understand yourselves what kind of big potential there is when you use such. Even when teaching and in the learning process, I think many of us would agree that visual aids help children, and they have surely more potential in understanding the children, understanding their emotions. So integrating those in the classroom in some small ways might be very useful. Or